Namaste Swamiji, my name is Shivanand. So if you look at, you yourself have explained several times that when you explore Advaita to the end, you come across paradoxes or points of singularities, like locus of ignorance being in the Brahman being one, or why anything at all. Gaudapada says at the end of it all, it's a very nature of Brahman, but how can a Nirguna Brahman have a nature? Or even the concept of Chedabhasa, how can a non-interacting, non-transactional Brahman be reflected in something else? So these are points of singularities. Now when science comes across that, it says, I don't know everything, I'm evolving. Does Advaita also claim that, does it claim that it is evolving, or does it claim that it's complete and there's no more evolution?
Both, I would say. Remember, Advaita, if you ask a traditional Advaita Pandit, what is Advaita? They will not say Advaita is a philosophy or Advaita is a kind of spiritual experience or mystical experience. No. They will simply say the technically correct meaning of Advaita is the interpretation of the Upanishads. The Sanskrit term for that is Mimamsa. What is Mimamsa? It is in Sanskrit Pujita Vichara, a reverential inquiry into the meaning of the text. Which text? The Vedic texts. So when you inquire into the ritualistic portion of the Vedas, which is the bulk, that is called Karma Mimamsa or Purva Mimamsa, the earlier inquiry, the inquiry into the earlier portion of the preliminary portion of the Vedas. And that's the ritualistic part. And the text for that is the Mimamsa Sutras of Jaimini. Now, there is another section called the Upanishads, which is called Jnana Kanda, the portion of about knowledge. That is the spiritual philosophy, which is called Vedanta. But technically it is called Uttara Mimamsa, the later inquiry. And the inquiry into the latter portion of the Vedas, the Upanishads. Now, those texts are fixed. However, so is Vedanta fixed forever? Not quite. The interpretations, you can bring out further and further interpretations, deeper and newer meanings. And that has been done through centuries and millennia. That's why you have pre-Shankara Advaita Vedanta and Shankara's and Gaudapada and Shankara's Advaita Vedanta and post-Shankara developments of Advaita Vedanta. And all the way down to Ramakrishna Vivekananda. Vivekananda said that Advaita, non-duality, has saved India 3 times. He says, first, in the time of the Buddha, second, in the time of Shankara. He says Buddha is an Advaita, which many Buddhists will immediately protest, no. But Vivekananda was quite clear about it. And then in the time of Shankara. And then he says again, in this time he means Sri Ramakrishna himself, in this day and age. Now, if you're saying that Buddha's philosophy and Shankara's philosophy and Ramakrishna Vivekananda are all talking about the same Advaita, then what Advaita are they talking about? It can't be strictly the classical Advaita Vedanta of Shankara or post-Shankara Advaitins. It must be a much broader and more liberal view of what the Upanishads are speaking about. So is it evolving? Yes. But the core is already there. At every stage, at every phase in human history, enough is there for your own liberation. Vivekananda said, in the West, I have taught only the Upanishads. And for therein is contained that all one needs for liberation.